And so when I say Chinese, I want you to scream out the nation that's associated with this. For example, if I say Chinese, you're going to say what?
China.
All right, let's say it with authority. When I say Chinese, you say what?
China.
All right, that's just a test right there. So here we go. Chinese.
China.
Russian.
Russia.
Italian.
Italy.
German.
Germany.
Swedish.
Sweden.
Korean.
Korea.
Egyptian.
Egypt.
Nigerian.
Nigeria.
Black.
Exactly. Nothing. Tell him, Pastor. Tell him, Pastor. Black, nothing.
I hope you were able to successfully identify the issue.
The lion won't sleep tonight. 'Cause we woke now, and we woke now. I said the lion won't sleep tonight. 'Cause we woke now, and we woke now. They want us to sell our souls to barter profit. Like God's property, it's hard to market. So we steady to aim, keep your eyes on target. Cause when you got to drive, yeah, they'd rather you park it. But I don't valet, you ain't getting these keys. I'm keeping closed hands, I'm on bended knee. I'm just a reflection, dealing with 8 sections. Art mixed with life, you can feel the convection. Your lion won't sleep tonight. 'Cause we woke now, and we woke now. I said the lion won't sleep tonight. 'Cause we woke now, and we woke now. I said the
I want to say welcome back, family. And of course, surprisingly, I'm still able to do a live, because normally when that happens, normally YouTube will just lock me out. You know, I've had that happen in the past, especially during the Biden administration with the COVID discussions and all. They was doing that there. We were, Sister Carol will tell you, we was even in a live discussion with a doctor, you know, a world-renowned doctor, and they literally was doing the same thing, you know, messing with the audio, messing with the video feed, and then kicked us out, you know. And that has happened a few times with this have happened a few times with YouTube. So it is what it is, family. Certain discussions they are not going to allow us to have, and it is what it is, you know, especially when it comes to using certain clips. So apparently they are monitoring those that are using that clip or any clips from that movie, because I'm sure the word is probably getting out. So therefore they have to manipulate things. They have to manipulate things. That's why it's no coincidence that you guys saw what you saw. You saw what you saw. Because the powers that be, they saw what they saw. They saw what they saw. They know what's going on here. They know the cat is out of the bag. So, like I said, when you guys said it was buffering, and then when I saw the numbers decreasing, that was the signal. I knew what was going on. So, family, we you know, I would just encourage you guys to go look at the movie. I will put back up on the screen a coincidence, not a coincidence, an actual parallel to what we saw play out with Charlie Kirk assassination to what transpired in this movie. You know, the things that line up. And this is one of the things that line up. The executioner, right? The boxer named Tyler. September 10th, as you guys pointed out. You know, and I think Berin, Scholar, you mentioned that you know it's not 10 p.m. TPM or whatever the time was, according to the video. I think it was like 10:58, something like that.
Yeah,
it was during the day.
Well, it was close to that time. You're right.
Close to that time, yeah. But during the day. instead of nighttime. So it's a lot of things that you can unpack out of this, family. So I encourage you guys, go watch the movie Snake Eyes. And where we left off at, we showed proof. We showed the parallels of Donald Trump. You know, we showed the parallels of uh, the Charlie Kirk, his connection with the youth. Right? We showed so many different connections, even with the Secretary of Defense. His name was Charlie Kirkland. Predictive programming. That's what we're dealing with here.
Exactly.
Predictive programming. And there's other movies and that are out there that you'll see the predictive programming. Even when watching a lot of those slave movies, there's a lot of predictive programming in those slave movies, directing it towards our community. Any comments, my brother?
They are showing the agenda left and right with the predictive programming. So you will swallow, like I said before, you'll swallow that pill. I don't think they got you to hear that, because these movies are showing what their agenda are, who they are. In fact, they put in symbols, hand gestures, certain imageries that everybody who's a part of that knows what's going on. But the common people, we're not aware. Some of the stuff that Pastor Kelly covered, I think it was 3 weeks ago with the cult by y'all. Most of those organizations, these symbols related to them.
Yeah. Matter of fact, let me pull up. I think I see your presentation. Let me bring it up here.
Yeah, some of the hand singles you see. In fact, if you notice the poster that you had on that symbol right there, you see that on the screen. That hand symbol, you see that on the poster. Snake eyes, and look who's beside him. Look at his hand. Now, if I'm going too fast, tell me to slow down, Pastor. But because you'll see a lot of people. There's another picture of our leader with the same symbol. Look at an old poster of Charlie Kirk. Look at his hand. And the one on the right side, if you don't know what it is, that is the white power symbol, the W, and the index finger touching the thumb, the P, the white power symbol. So you got this, and there's his old buddy Elon Musk. That's him on Saturday Night Live. That's him at the funeral. Both of them, I think you can see below. You see there, both of them holding their hand just below. I think the picture can sort of cut off. And that's him in one of the interviews he did in the Oval Office. Same symbol. Now, is this a coincidence? They're doing this all the time. Not just them. Here's other world leaders.
Now, I would say this, and I'm not making any excuses, because these are tying into that. And I will say this, because I know that for myself, and I'm sure you have, and Sister Carol, you've taken communication classes, and they do give you examples of how to do hand gestures, right? But you can see here, to your point, that is more to it, especially when you start understanding the system that they are connected to, especially when you pulled up the Charlie Kirk and the white supremacy signal that he had, and what was he spewing?
The same propaganda that they spew,
and
white replacement theory.
Exactly. And a lot of this stems from Judaism, the 1948ers mystical system. All right. And I'll say this, family, and I see a couple of comments about New World Order. This is not a New World Order. We've been in that New World Order. Actually, we could say it's a renewing of an order. We can't say that this is a New World Order, because it's been going full steam. If we keep saying this is a New World Order, then we are basically falling into the deception and basically not even acknowledging all the things that they've done thus far. So it's not a new world order. Matter of fact, when you look at the explorers 300-400 years ago, they were using the term New World. So this is not coincidental. This is not coincidental. We've been in this New World Order. I mean, we're full steam going ahead into it.
Well, here's the picture of his son who wasn't speaking, and this was at the Republican convention, and when the camera flashed on me, this is a single he put up.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and so that's why I see someone in the comment, "Win big, professor." That's what I'm saying. Like, that's why I want to make it clear that yes, some of us use certain gestures, but it's not in this manner. Like, because again, all hand gestures does not stem from Freemasonry, but we have to understand the people that are using these hand gestures and when they're using these hand gestures. You know, because again, and I know for myself, I'm not sure with you guys in the communication class that I've taken, they showed you how to do certain hand gestures, you know, how to keep your hand in a certain position. But again, to Berean Scholar's point, as what he shared on the screen, you know, is more to this, because if we look at some of these shootings and some of these questionable events, there are hand gestures, there are body language, body signals, because it's not gestures is not just to the hands. I want to make that clear. Is you got to look at the position of the body. Look at how Donald Trump was sitting in his chair. That's getting into Masonry. See, when they do those gestures, it's not just them doing it, you know, with their hand. You got to look at the body language. Like with the Freemasons and other societies, their posture is a certain way in the chair. Their posture is a certain way when they're standing up with those gestures. If you go back to that Charlie Kirk image, you can see that he's standing on his square. Can you pull it back up? That's why I want to make it clear, because I don't want to have it so that way you guys start overly thinking. Like right here, I can tell you he's standing a certain way. The one with the blue suit, he's standing a certain way. Right? You could call it standing on his square. He's standing a certain, I can tell just by his gesture. And to the right, you can see it as well. So that's why I want to make it clear. They didn't invent hand gestures, but this is where you have to understand body language. Like in the military, you're taught that there's two ways to verbalize: verbals, which comes out of your mouth, and non-verbals, your body language, not just your hands, but the position of your body.
And to your point, the position of the same one was Elon Musk, where he was standing the same way right here.
So look at his position of his body. That. And I can tell you, if I was watching him, if I had a full picture of it, more than likely his heels would be together.
And his toes were pointed out.
Exactly.
In a square.
So that's why I want to make sure, family, we're not saying that everyone that you see, let's just say, because in this went through this, about a year and a half ago, Sister Carol, where it was like they're going overly, just going crazy with the hand gestures. You know what I mean? So I got to a point I had to show a karate movie. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, because you know with the karate movies, when they doing all their manist style, their tiger claws. But the point that I'm making, family, is you have to make sure that you understand it within context, because before you know it, we'll start saying our children or your children that's 4 years old is Freemasons. So that's why I want to make sure you understand. Look at the posture.
And the reason that we're bringing it up too, because this is just one of several things that came throughout that movie that is more than the coincidence that's happening now, right now. Yeah. Several of the symbolism, the words, the names, the characters' positioning in life, All that stuff is what we play. That's the predicted program that they showed us. The Matrix is real.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so I'm going to play a couple of clips and you guys can share your thoughts on it. I know some of you guys probably be disappointed because we was on a roll with the video clips, but you know, I'm not surprised, Sister Carol, tell you they've done this to us a few times. Am I right, Sister Carol?
Absolutely. If it's not being done, something's wrong.
Yeah. I mean, literally, especially at the height of the COVID and the professor that passed away, I can't remember his name now. That we interviewed, that was on MSNBC and a lot of channels about giving us the truth about COVID.
Oh, Dr. Rowland.
Dr. Rowland, yeah. His daughter's an actress rather.
Yes.
You know, and
Jordan
was
Rowland.
doing an interview with him, and literally they stopped the stream.
Sure did. Shut it down. And we couldn't get back on.
Couldn't get back on. Gave me a couple of strikes to go with it. So yeah, family, these people are not playing. And matter of fact, Berean Scholar had his TikTok account taken down.
Yep, they blocked me. I couldn't log in it.
Guess who owns it now? The 1948ers. They own this. They own it here, and they're having an impact in other countries. All right, so this is let's show a couple of clips here because when we left off, Sister Carol made note of Netanyahu, some of his the questionable interviews that he did that kind of brought attention to him because of immediately after Charlie Kirk's assassination. These are a couple of clips here that he came out with. Let me see here. Let me make sure I got the right one. I didn't put both of them up. I thought I did. Here's one of them.
Before I let you go, I want you to address one thing, and it's just the absurdity of it. Some of the internet rumors that somehow Israel is behind the Charlie Kirk murder, and I don't believe it for 1 second, but I want you to make a statement. It's so absurd.
That's insane. That's insane. Israel also changes the orbit of the moon. Israel pushes the sun. I mean, the whole thing it's not only insane. I think it's so absurd, so stupid, and so ridiculous. You can't believe that people are saying that.
Quick, hide in here. Now don't move until I tell you to. All right, open up. This is the police. All right, where's Rocky? Where is he hiding? He's not in the stove. Whoa, he's hiding in that stove, eh? Now look, would I turn on this gas if my friend Rocky was in there? You might, Rabbit, you might. Well, would I throw a lighted match in there if my friend was in there? Well, all right, Rabbit, you've convinced me.
That's what we basically saw. That Bugs Bunny clip sums up what we saw, what we heard, and what we saw in that interview with Netanyahu, and that he did it multiple times. And the question is like, why you even having to feel the the pressure, so to speak, to say that you had nothing to do with it, not once but multiple times.
Programming.
Any comments, guys?
Straight programming.
It reminded me of the kids that when the mom come home and said, "Who broke their lamp in the living room?" And the first one that started said, "Well, I didn't do it." And she knows what happened because you're the first one that spoke up.
The old saying, first one said it did it. Family, and when you start getting into the MK Ultra, and hopefully I'll play a clip if it, and prayerfully it doesn't get shut down. But if it does, you guys already know, then I'm just going to leave it alone. But when you start understanding MK Ultra, we've been programmed for centuries upon centuries as a people.
Yes.
We've been programmed through religion to demonize the victim and victimize the perpetrator. You know, so MK Ultra is real. And speaking of that, Berean Scholar, I see you have your chat GBT open. Is that the thread about the one that we were talking about?
Yeah, that was it. That was it.
So I want you guys to listen here of what chat GBT says about the programming, because I'm going to play a couple of clips in between just so that way you guys can understand what MK Ultra is. Matter of fact, let me play this first clip and then we'll tie it into what ChatGPT is going to say about the shooter. All right, here's MK Ultra.
So psychiatric mind control is there's actually a psychiatrist or a doctor right there interacting one-on-one with the person who's the target or the subject. The more kind of general global mind control just works by control of the media, control of information, disinformation, propaganda. And I think our culture basically is run like that. It's very pervasive. The basic gist of behaviorism is Pavlov's dog experiment, where you have the dog that eats its meal and it salivates when you put the meat out. Then when you ring a bell at the same time, the bell gets paired with the salivation.
So in the run-up to this week's midterm elections, there are a lot of celebrities out there campaigning for Democratic candidates all over the country. You probably saw them, actors, singers, TikTok personalities, all doing their part for the Democratic Party. You probably weren't surprised by this. It's normal. Pop culture figures always support Democrats. Every single one of them. But have you ever wondered why all of these supposedly creative people reach exactly the same conclusion every time? They're all on the same page. How could that happen? It's an interesting question. We don't know the answer, but you should consider what happened when one of the most famous singers in the world broke with the herd. November 19th, 2016, a week and a half after Donald Trump won the presidential election, Kanye West, now known as Ye, held a concert in Sacramento. Most people in the audience were, of course, young people and presumably Hillary Clinton voters and presumably deeply disappointed by her loss a week and a half before. So in the middle of the show, West stopped performing and started talking about politics. Google lied to you, he said, by suggesting to its users that Hillary was going to win. Quote, Facebook lied to you. I'm not here to massage you with a fake truth telling you that Hillary's going to win over and over and over. You were lied to by Google. You were lied to by Mark Zuckerberg. Middle America, West continued, showed you how they felt. Well, at this point, some of the audience began to boo, but West kept going. He complimented Donald Trump repeatedly. At one point, he used the phrase, "Make America Great Again." It was, to put it mildly, not the kind of thing you normally hear at a rap concert. And then, 2 days later, Kanye West was in the hospital. Well, at the house of his family's exercise trainer, a man called Harley Pasternak, West apparently suffered some kind of mental break. Pasternak called an ambulance to pick him up. West was taken away, and then he was sedated with at least 7 different psychiatric medications, including benzodiazepines, lithium, sleeping pills, and olanzapine. News reports suggested that West had experienced a profound psychiatric episode. He'd gone completely off the deep end. He'd gone crazy.
The documentation on G.H. Estabrooks, who was a contractor during the Second World War, proves that active mind control experimentation was already going on in the 1941 to 1945 timeframe. The Office of Strategic Services, which is the precursor of the CIA, was studying different types of drugs, interrogation techniques, and G.H. Estabrooks was creating super spies, Manchurian candidates, using hypnosis and other techniques that were used operationally during the war. And the OSS then was shut down at the end of the war, and most of the personnel then became the new CIA in 1947. And this
Now, press, get ready to write your passive aggressive, LeBron James, racist comments.
All right. So there you have it. So I have more to share, but I didn't want to be too long with it. And then all of a sudden this live get shut down. So Berean Scholar, let's go ahead and I want to share your screen.
All right.
And family, this is, let me take this off the screen. All right.
All right, so let me know. Can you see it? Is it large enough? I don't need to enlarge it.
Yeah, I can see it. The biggest thing, like once you start playing it, it'll scroll anyway.
Okay. All right. First question I was asking Chat GTP. You see, does University of Utah Valley University have ties to in the CIA?
I found no credible evidence that Utah Valley University, UVU, has formal ties to the CIA. However, there are documented connections and programs that associate UVU with national security/intelligence education, and there are educational exchanges related to Israel-Palestine. Below is a summary of what is known and what is not supported by public evidence. What is true, supported by evidence. 1. Center for National Security Studies, CNSS, at UVU. UVU has a Center for National Security Studies, uvu.edu. This center, among other things, is involved in national security, intelligence, and industry-related programs. uvu.edu. 2. Intermountain Intelligence, Industry, and Security Consortium, I3SC. UVU co-leads with Utah State University, the I3SC, which provides academic programs relevant to intelligence, cybersecurity, security analytics, anticipatory intelligence, etc. These are academic programs, internships, etc. uvu.edu. 3. Study abroad, global engagement programs, including Israel, the Middle East. UVU offers study abroad experiences in the Middle East, including in Jerusalem, Ramallah, Amman, etc. For example, their Peace and Justice Studies program has a Middle East option that includes institutions such as the University of Jordan, Birzeit University, Hebrew University, Netanya Academic College. uvu.edu. UVU also hosts lectures or events related to Israel-Palestine through its Global Spotlight series, including one titled Current Security Situation in Israel and Palestine. uvu.edu. 4. Public statements regarding Israel-Palestine conflict. UVU has issued statements expressing concern for both Israelis and Palestinians in times of heightened conflict, offering campus support, etc. What is not supported, or what remains unknown. CIA ties. There is no publicly verifiable evidence that UVU has ongoing formal partnerships or institutional ties with the U.S. Central Intelligence Agency.
Now I'm going to stop there for time because what I found out is the shooter, the one that they said was the shooter, Kirkman, Charlie was his name, Tyler.
Charlie Kirk. Oh, Tyler
Tyler.
Robinson.
He did a year at UVU before this happened. He was a student at UVU before this happened. Now you see what Chad said, there was no tie to CIA to UVU. But after I asked this question, there's a program called CAU. This is the Center of Anticipatory Intelligence, anticipating, and this program is led by a person named Joanne Johnson, who's an ex-CIA agent, and Matt Burnett, and he is a retired CIA manager of analytics. Two people who will lead this program, which has a chapter you see here at Utah State University, and they also deal with UVU and every other thing where this gentleman went to school at. You see where between the ties between these schools, because this program which they did, what they participated in, were offered at this school. Remember, they did studies abroad in the Middle East. I'm just gonna put it that way because we know who we talk about. And the last question I asked, and I'm gonna let it play with that one. When we're talking about MK Ultra, here we go.
Short answer, yes.
What kind of program
the
did
CIA itself told Congress that its MK Ultra behavior control work was carried out at dozens of outside institutions, including 44 colleges or universities. The authoritative source for that statement is the 1977 Senate hearings on Project MK Ultra and related CIA documents released afterward. Senate Select Committee on Intelligence. A bit more detail and context, because this topic is often misstated. The 1977 Senate report, Senate Select Committee on Intelligence, Subcommittee on Health and Scientific Research, states that the recovered MK Ultra material named some 185 individual researchers and 80 institutions, of which 44 were colleges or universities. The remainder were research foundations, hospitals, prisons, companies, etc. The report explains that many records had been destroyed in 1973, and that some names were only later recovered via FOIA. Senate Select Committee on Intelligence, the CIA's own declassified materials released to the Reading Room, and press reporting from the era corroborate that large numbers of universities and other institutions were used for MK Ultra type research. Separate CIA documents and news reports note specific university involvements. CIA. Because of destroyed files, privacy concerns, and redactions, there is no single short official list released by the CIA in one place naming exactly all 44 colleges in a tidy list available to the public. Instead, the names that have been identified appear across declassified CIA documents, the Senate hearings appendices, and later FOIA releases and journalistic reporting. The National Security Archive and other researchers have compiled many of the recovered items into searchable collections. Senate Select Committee on Intelligence. Examples of universities that have been publicly identified in declassified documents or contemporaneous reporting include, these are examples, not the complete 44 list: Cornell University, Cornell Medical School, University of Maryland, George Washington University, University of Wisconsin, and McGill University, Allen Memorial Institute in Canada. Each of these is mentioned in the declassified record or reporting about MK Ultra related subprojects. CIA. If you want the most useful next step, I can do one of the two right now. Pick.
Of course. You see right here.
Go ahead.
You see the top right here? Because
Yep.
I asked it, was this program offered at the University of Utah, where he took a year of school? And it said yes.
And so, even with that, family, when you start getting into understanding MK Ultra, and when you start dealing with predictive programming, they use trigger words, kind of like you ever, if you guys familiar with dog training, they can program your dog to have a trigger word that only you know, that no one else would know, right? And that dog hear that trigger word and it will snap. Then you have to use a trigger word to calm it down. It's the same thing when you think about, there was a movie called Serenity. I'm going a little geek mode. I'm not sure if you guys heard of the movie Serenity. This came out in like 2005. It was a sci-fi movie. And there was a female that was in the movie that was a weapon. And they didn't know that she was programmed to be a weapon. Her own brother didn't know the magnitude of it. So here it is. They're going to meet to make a deal or whatever. So they at this like bar or whatever it is, this social spot. And so she's standing there by the bar while they're going on to meet with each other, do their meeting. And she's watching the screen. Now in the cartoon, is a cartoon just flash on the screen. And this is their way of trying to locate where she is. When I say they, the people that was trying to track her down. So they had to put a cartoon broadcasted to try to locate her. So guess what? She was in the bar and that cartoon came on and she quoted Miranda. And then she began to go berserk. She began to beat up everyone in the bar. Here it is, this innocent looking girl. And it parallels this here. I may have to pull that up so you guys can see what I'm saying. So it was a buzzword that came over the feed that she didn't hear anyone say it, but she was programmed that if she heard Miranda, she just snapped and became a weapon itself. That is an example of MK Ultra. That's what they were doing. You know, as you heard the video that I played, they were saying that it's in the media. It could be being programmed through the media, you know, lies, fake news, all kinds of stuff that can build up a certain narrative and create a trigger word.
The movie They Live depicts everything you just stated, as well as everything stated in this chat GPT. That's exactly what it did. It's a programming that you only could see with certain type of glasses on. You can see the programming, but if you take the glasses off, you go about life like
Oh yeah,
normally.
yeah, I remember that.
And
I
the
remember that.
programming was going on and on through the media waves. It was a media wave was in satellites that was putting the programming in the air, so everyone was engulfing it, and they were living among aliens as well as humans and not knowing it, but they look like humans. But the radioactiveness of this messaging went through there. It's on the billboards, it's in newspapers, it's on side of buildings, it was on cars, and it tells you to obey, to follow, not fight. Whatever the programming is to keep you at a control in a controlled environment. That's what the MK Ultra was.
Another example of that, if anybody's seen the
They came
last
out in the
Captain America,
80s.
the last Captain America,
Yeah.
where where when they were in that in the White House, and a song started playing, and
Mhm.
eight people just got programmed. It was music, and he did every throughout the show. There were certain songs that would play, and if you were part of that MK Ultra, then you'll just do something and you don't remember what you done afterwards.
And the series on Hulu called Paradise, and I'm waiting for the second season to come out because it's so good. It depicts all of this. Exact same thing. They told the world it was coming to an end and all these things were happening and that they had to escape to Utah. That was Colorado, it wasn't Utah. It was Colorado, where they built this city for only lottery ticket people who can come and live there. And they had programming inside of this controlled environment for the people to live in. And they started to revolt later on in the season, and that's where it stopped. But it's exactly the same thing. And with people still living outside this bubble in the other states, but they didn't know who was still living because they killed so many, but there was still some who survived what they put out into the atmosphere. Same programming.
I don't
All
know. Is
right.
he still with us?
Just making
Okay.
sure we still good because you was breaking up a little bit, or was it just me?
I
Yeah,
heard
because
it playing.
it was I was hearing a little. Okay, on my end I was hearing a little breakup, so I was like, oh, did it?
Okay.
Are they doing it again? So
I wouldn't be surprised.
yeah, yeah, but yeah, and family, it's think about how we were pre-programmed as a people, of being hacked. You know, we were wired a certain way. And
Hmm.
look at how we're being rewired. Look at how think about it, all of us have this natural phobia for police officers, for law enforcement.
Hmm.
How did that happen?
Exactly.
What are some of the other things that think about how our community struggle with finances? But if you guys really understand slavery, especially and when you get transitioned over to the sharecropping, guess who images that they had on the dollar bills? It
Slave
had us
owners.
on there.
Dead presidents.
Literally had us on the dollar bills, picking cotton.
Oh yeah, you talking the old
Oh yeah.
from
Oh,
old
those.
Confederate? Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
saw
Absolutely.
those.
They had us on everything. We were the
So,
face of all products.
and see, that's the point that I'm making. How that can have a impact. That can have a subliminal effect to where it can, to make you not want to hold money, or whatever the case may be. Some of the other things that was done to us that have rewired us to where it creates a fear, a phobia. Look at what they've done with religion, the legal system. We're not under the law, but the law said that we had to be slaves.
Mm.
We're gonna tell you you're not under the law, but at the same time, the same people that call themselves uh, deciphering ancient Hebrew texts are the same ones that said that they deciphered the metanoia.
Exactly.
So to be on both sides of the aisle and causing separation within the community. Any comments, guys?
This in the program that we're talking about, this is for those avert, we would say, cultish organization. But this program also went with full tilt in the Christian church, and also with Judaism, and also with Islam.
And as well as military, the military as well.
Yeah, but they program us in the church to accept, to forgive, and submit, to
Everything.
to not do critical thinking. You know, they program you to love our oppressors, no matter what. You know, to obey, and that we were supposed to submit to everybody else. In fact, the very fact that in this country on Sunday, there's still a division in the so-called Christian church, and you won't see any mega church that's led by Israelite with minority white people going to it, but you can see the opposite.
Yeah, and family, this is why it's so important for us to understand these things of how, as we say, predictive programming. You know, when you keep telling a community that we have to, for example, Christ said, love your neighbor, and it's taught out of context, love your enemy, pray for your enemies, and all that other stuff. Think of what it does to that community. You force a Messiah on that community that looked like the oppressor. But you're telling me that this image that I see love me so much that it allowed in that image to rape, to kidnap, to murder, all kinds of things to our community, but all in the name of that delusion. Family, this is why we see the craziness that's going on with our people with this rapture doctrine. And I believe that they have people pre-programmed in our community to teach foolishness like that. What ends up happening? So many people say, you know what? I'm walking away from it. Any comments, guys?
I totally agree with you. We are the most over-programmed people walking around. It's programming everywhere. I mean, not just church, school, your job, everything, TV, the news, whatever mechanism that they have out there to get information into you, you're programmed. Exactly. Until you deprogram yourself from it and start looking at it with different eyes, you will stay in the program. Yep. And you have to fight to stay out the program, because they reprogram you and put different codes in there for you to take in that information. So you have to go and decipher what it is that they're giving you. They never stop programming us.
Yeah.
And we need
dirty dime, shiny nickel. Go ahead, Marine Scholar.
Yeah, Romans 12:2 tells us to not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by renewing the mind. I read that again in the scripture, but I had to be not only renewed my mind from the exact interpretation of the word, because I was conformed to a false teaching of the word. So it's for us just not to listen, and that's the problem with most of them. We just listen. We took it in. It's okay. We did not go back and read it for ourselves and put together. Say, is this what the whole word said? If I'm reading everything in context, we didn't do that. I didn't do that. I was guilty. I was guilty, and as a minister, I was guilty of that.
Well, they knew all this was going to happen. It was written that this was going to happen, which is why they told us that we have to have a renewed mind, because he knew we was going to be programmed to other idolatry type things that we're dealing with now. I have been dealing with in the past, and people are still dealing with. That we will have to come out of this bubble of satanicness that we've been living in to see what's going on, and you can't see it until you come out of it.
And you know, and man, even in that movie, they mentioned a holiday in September. It was some type of, I can't remember. Oh man, I wish I
think it was Rosh Hashanah.
Yeah, in that movie, because remember they
Mm-hmm.
were trying to come
It
up
was.
with the shooter. They were trying to make the shooter to be a Palestinian,
Yes.
Yeah.
and they brought up Jewish, and they brought up Rosh Hashanah.
Mm-hmm.
The shoe was a Palestinian that was upset because they were going to sell some weapons to
To
Middle East
Iran.
country.
Right.
No, they were selling weapons to Israel.
Well, I thought it was the reverse. Oh yeah. I'm thinking of yeah. You're right.
Yeah.
But think about it though.
That's
The
what launched
same
that whole
narratives
movie.
that we see today.
Exactly.
And actually, they've been doing this forever. I mean, because when you, I have a Mike Wallace interview that he did with AIPAC. He even mentions that they mentioned back then. This is a interview that occurred back in like 1990, 1988, saying that hey, Israel did not want the United States to sell nukes or whatever weapons to Iran.
No, they didn't. They've always been fighting that.
And
Absolutely.
and you hear it playing out today. So even what's her name? The girl, the butch body lady,
Marjorie
Taylor.
Tyler Greene. Yeah, Marjorie Greene.
Even she
I couldn't
Yeah,
be
she
saying for
woke.
laughing.
made
She has
comments
woke up.
about the
Yeah.
1948ers even
Yep.
having nukes, which we
Yep.
already know.
Mm-hmm.
So they have nukes, but you get to what? Tell everyone else you can't have a weapon. That's almost like telling me you're gonna fight me with a gun and you get
Mm-hmm.
mad at me for having a gun.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, she's digging hard into it right now. I mean, she's like, she got bulldozers in Israel digging up information.
Well, and the key is she's not on the payroll
No, she's not.
because she was a millionaire without them.
Mm-hmm.
From what I understand, she inherited, $40 to $50 million from like a construction company her parents had.
Mm-hmm.
But she's very wealthy. So, and she makes it clear, I don't take no money. So, and
Right.
the point of the matter, family, is that you see this happening more and more. And when you get back to this guy right here, Charlie Kirk, we all agree. You know what I mean? He said a lot of crazy stuff that we don't agree with, don't condone. But look at how he was taken out. When you look at the footage, man, I mean, like I said, when you look at it from just the very next day after this happened, when I received a clip from Berean Scholar, I looked, I was like, the guy right here has something to do with it. Remember Berean Scholar?
Yep, you did.
The moment I saw, I was like, hey, the guy in the brown shirt.
I listened to you because you have military training. You know what security is supposed to be doing.
Yeah. The guy didn't duck. He stood there for about 5 seconds?
Everybody else around him was ducking and screaming about at least 2 or 3 seconds before he even turned around.
Yeah. Before he even turned around. He didn't duck.
A military person who's trained and they heard a gunshot, they know it would react a whole lot quicker than that.
Well, and two, when you're used to hearing gunshots, you don't duck. Right? I remember when I went to basic training, because I grew up where I grew up at in Newark, you heard gunshots all the time. You heard sirens all the time. So when I was in basic training, they fired a weapon behind me up in the air. And I didn't jump. And they was looking at like, man, you just got nerves of steel. And I was like, no, I'm used to hearing guns all the time. So that sound is not something that's going to make me surprised. Does that make sense? When you're used to hearing certain sounds, when you're used to hearing gunfire, and there's a different type of gunfire when you out on a shooting range versus wartime gunfire. Let me make that clear. There's a different type of fire especially when you're dealing with certain types of weapons that's going to cause you to have a certain response. And when I saw that, it was like, oh, there he is right there. You know what I mean? At least one of them. You know,
if you know, and I'm not putting it out there, and we're here, we're just doing this stuff as commentary.
Let me say this real quick. Moderators, when you see idiots like this that call themselves twink and posting curse words and obscenities inside the chat, kick them out. I'm kicking them out right now.
That's what I'm doing. I'm going through the chat, check.
Yeah. When you see idiots like that, trolling idiots like that, you know, put them out. And I'm not just Sister Carol already does that, but I'm just saying we have some other moderators within the chat. Put them out. Don't give them warnings. You see them posting curse words and saying crazy stuff. Put them out. Kick them out. These are trolling cowards that are paid to do these things. And yes, I could say that they're paid because Sister Carol would tell you some had made it clear that they were paid to troll the channel. Am I right, Sister Carol?
That's right. They go on different channels to do exactly what they're doing. Troll.
All right. Sorry about that, guys. But yeah, family, when you see people, and I'm, you know, because Sister Carol's not the only moderator, and Berean Scholar's not the only moderator. We have some of you guys that are watching right now that are moderators. Put them out. Delete them. Don't even warn. Give a warning. When you cursing, when they're doing those type of things, they're trying to get the channel flagged.
That's right.
You know, so that way YouTube see that, and then all of a sudden they start flagging it. That's why I really believe it was probably the trolls that got to YouTube, start complaining.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's how it's always signified. It's by a troll.
Yeah. But sorry about that, guys. I just wanted to.
That's okay, and it is a good point to bring this out because those of you who are back on with chat, thank you for coming back on with us. You saw what happened to the last live we did, and it's people like you that come on and they would hit like on this thing, like on this chat, hit like button on this chat, and we repost it and we make comments and comments to help us beat this algorithm, because the programming is real. We telling you truth. If you hear truth, truth will set you free. The people that the powers that be don't want you free. They want you controlled.
Yeah. And so, family, even going back to the MK Ultra, and I did a video, uploaded a video about Kanye West wearing a KKK mask. And when you watch that and you listen to the video in its entirety with the guy explaining MK Ultra, he was even saying that how they would have them programmed a certain way and certain trigger words that make them want to go to certain places. And one of the things they mentioned was overseas, like I think they mentioned China, right? And where was Kanye West trying to press to get to? If you go back and look at it, he was trying to get, I got to get over to Japan or China or whatever, because you know, they watching me, they listen to me. I don't trust my life. You know, that last interview that he had done with I can't remember the guy's name. That's all he kept saying. I got to leave. And that's where he wore the black, the black KKK mask. He was like, I got to go. I got to get overseas. And when you watch that MK Ultra, some of the clips I put in that video, those are some of the behaviors that it talks about. Here it is. You had someone that was sane for all this period of time, you know, since he's been in the music industry. Then suddenly he flips out. Suddenly something happened to make him look crazy because now he's questioning certain things. And you got a trainer. Let me play the clip about the trainer real quick so you guys can understand the magnitude of what's going on, just the influence of these guys. Let me play this trainer clip again.
Well, at the house of his family's exercise trainer, a man called Harley Pasternak, West apparently suffered some kind of mental break. Pasternak called an ambulance to pick him up. West was taken away And then he was sedated with at least 7 different psychiatric medications, including benzodiazepines, lithium, sleeping pills, and olanzapine. News reports suggested that West had experienced a profound psychiatric episode. He'd gone completely off the deep end. He'd gone crazy, and they've been saying that ever since.
And again, I'm not being a Kanye West apologist. I want to make that clear. But think about what was just said. He was given all this medication and then marked for being crazy.
Mhm.
That's the pattern. If you look at the guy Benjamin Friedman, who did the book or the lecture Facts Are Facts, same thing. They made him look crazy because of what? They had no argument against him.
Correct. But the key to the whole matter is the public believed it.
The public believed it, but
That's the whole
yeah.
purpose of all of it. It's not so much about what they're doing to the person. It's that they want to make sure that the public believe it. That's why when this situation happened, I immediately told people, do not believe what the media present to you. Whatever man they present to you as the shooter, he is not the shooter. Do not believe it. Because it's what they want the public to do, is to accept what they present to you so they can continue their narrative and not look anywhere else but there.
And so what was the buzzwords even before this? Anti-Semitic,
That's
anti-Semitic.
it.
Everything is
Anti-Semitic.
anti-Semitic. You
That's
crazy,
right.
you crazy. Those are some of the buzzwords.
That's right.
And that was one of my concerns, is that, hey, they couldn't find a manifest of this with this guy. Normally, they always find a manifest. But then when you start seeing how things were being reported, they're creating a manifest before your eyes. Oh, he was affiliated with this politics. Oh, he had this thing. He wrote on his bullets XYZ. All of that stuff sounds crazy. Hank jumping from a building with a gun that he supposedly took apart.
Mm-hmm.
Took apart. He walking supposedly with it inside his pants. Then he gets inside the building and take it apart before he get into the building to go up the stairs. Then he gets up the stairs and get on the roof and put it back together. Then before he gets off the roof, he takes it apart, hang jumps, then put it back together and leave it inside the woods.
But he left his screwdriver on the roof.
And he changed clothes.
And you don't use a screwdriver for those type of weapons.
And it wasn't even that type of weapon that killed him. It was something.
You see what I'm saying? Exactly. It makes absolutely no sense. Then you have a letter or text messages supposedly that has no dates on it. That's supposed to be the interaction of him and now his trans roommate.
Mm-hmm.
You see how they're hitting all the buzzwords?
The trans coat brigade. Yep.
You see the grandstanding, like we saw in that video clip of the Snake Eyes, how the guy, the owner of the casino, started grandstanding.
Mm-hmm.
Announced how the character was assassinated, that he died, and then in the same breath of why he's going to do what he's going to do. So, family, it's no coincidence, family. It's no coincidence. And I'm not saying it just to be saying it. I am prior military, and I'm not going into all the details of my background, but I could tell you when I saw that right off the back, and it was like, man, they're lying. No way.
Mm-hmm.
No way.
Mm-hmm.
No way. And some would try to say, yeah, someone can make that type of shot if they practice.
No.
Family, I'm telling you, no way. A 20-year-old kid is going to be able to be that accurate from that distance and only use one bullet. Normally, that's a multiple shooting bullet. A shot type thing.
And didn't hit anybody but him.
He used one bullet. How often have you seen that in these executions that we've witnessed over the years? One bullet, and mysteriously his bones are so strong that this bullet didn't shatter his neck bones and then go out on the other side?
Mm-mm.
And there's only one neck bone in the neck. That's your spinal cord, and those bones are brittle.
So think about it, family. And just so happened, a year ago, the 1948ers had put cell phones into the hands of people in Iran that blew up on them.
I remember that.
Yep.
They that was, and it wasn't called a terrorist attack.
Nope.
Any other performer act like that, what is it called?
Terror.
Look it up, family. They had rigged cell phones, put explosives inside cell phones, and set them off. And you could do that remotely. It could just be a simple phone call to it. Dial a number, they ring, whatever the case may be, or just send a signal to it. Could be a text message, whatever, and cause these things to what? Detonate.
Like they did Charlie.
And their story was they were going after Hamas leaders, but they not only hit the people they was targeting, they hit the people who were around those people who were innocent, just citizens.
Yeah,
that hurt too.
And also the negotiators. Whenever there's a negotiation going on, mysteriously there's something that happens. And who normally are the ones that get killed? Innocent people, of course, but also those that are participating in the negotiation from the foreign countries. So, family, not trying to be the dead horse. I know it kind of took a little steam out of it because we had our thing. We was in the flow. And they took our clips down, man. You know, but family, I mean, it's what it is. It is what it is, and we shouldn't be surprised. Any comments, guys, as we get ready to wrap this up?
I just advise everybody who's not just to sit back and listen, that they do their own research, they do their own studies, they continue to read and find out why this crafted council is like it is, and be aware so they can be watchmen for their family and their community.
Yeah, think outside the box. Don't accept everything that's presented to you.
Yes.
From the media. Just do not. Second, a third guess every single thing and do your own digging. Don't just accept something that's handed to you. And don't follow the flow of the algorithm that's in the streets like we normally do.
Absolutely. And I encourage you guys, the name of the movie is
Snake Eyes.
Snake Eyes. Watch the movie. You can if you're on YouTube, just simply type it in, the full movie, and it'll tell you how to obtain a copy of it.
It's on Prime also.
Oh, it is?
Everything's on Prime.
Well, because I know when I tried to look it on Prime, it didn't come up.
It's on there.
So I had to do
a lot of old
different way to get
movies.
into it.
Yeah.
So, all righty, family. With that being said, really appreciate you guys for being online, and we're just going to keep doing what we're doing. And let me make sure my screen. You just took this stuff off the screen, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure because you know how they be doing stuff. I was about to have
So you thought they did that? Huh?
I was about to start twitching. You know,
about to crash out.
Start twitching in here like, oh, they done did it again, and you know, take it down.
You can use that bunch where you did these guys.
These guys. You know what I mean? Let's see, got my accent coming out. So, but again, family, we got to start questioning everything. Don't just listen to what's being given to you. I mean, things have been accelerated. Things were bad with the Biden, with the lies that they were doing with this whole COVID. Man, it's now escalated.
Yep.
It is escalated. So We already know for our community, it was always targeting our community. Biden administration targeted our community. You know,
Also,
they was using all kinds of buzzwords to call us all kinds of names because our community was not lining up as a whole to support what was coming down with those vaccines. Now, look at what's happening now in this administration. Go ahead, sis.
I'm going to say this, Pastor. There is a video, if you've come across it, with this white gentleman who is telling the public that they're getting ready to decapitate the heads of the military. In other words, remove them. And they're going to start a I forgot the word he used, but basically have the military start coming after us, remove the military, where they can start doing things to us, and then how we should revolt against them with the companies, the major corporations who support and pour money into the military by boycotting. Deep dive that. Do not, if you run across that video, do not take that video with a grain of salt. Deep dive all that information. Do not run with it. It's traveling around and being shared by different people. So if you run across it, just deep dive it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And family, they did ultimately, just like Red Summer or Blood Summer,
Hmm.
they're trying to trigger a race war, so to
That's
speak.
exactly.
And we're powerless, so to speak, because they have all the weapons. You know, we have some power, but they have they have the government behind them.
Hmm.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's what, like this Charlie Kirk guy, he was trying to talk about how we need, you know, we don't need handouts. They don't need to do this or that for our community, or we don't know how to pick ourselves up, whatever the case may be. But during the early turn of the 20th century, we were the most educated people. We had the highest income. Our families were still together, and the dollars circulated in our community for at least 4 months. And they declare war on our communities and bombed them and all kinds of stuff. So let's just be on the lookout. And that's what this all boils down to, is there's an agenda to push these people and to put us down. And we'll do a live tomorrow to show the depths that these guys have no problem stooping to. I'll show you with ChatGPT how they got to ChatGPT. I shared it with Berean Scholar earlier, but ChatGPT is not wearing fringes anymore. ChatGPT is now at Sunday service and taking Holy Communion.
Yep.
The very things that we warned about, guess what? They did it pretty quick.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so that's why when we say when certain things happen, you got to move quick, get certain things done, and then keep it moving. But yeah, they are busy. So with that being said, final words here is Exodus chapter 14, verse 13 to 14, which is my favorite scripture. Fear ye not, stand still, see the salvation of Yahweh. These Egyptians that you see here today would not have power over us ever again. The Most High will fight for us, but here's the kicker, family. We have to hold our peace. In other words, we have to learn how to use calculated silence. Can't go back, can't stay here. Keep moving forward. Shalom.